We will interrupt all programs to give you latest news bulletins. Stay tuned to this station.
J-L-L-O. The Jell-O program brought to you by Jell-O and Jell-O Pudding, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with the Gay Ranchero. A convenient way to buy Jell-O, ladies and gentlemen, is to get several packages at a time and use them as you want them. And with the new Jell-O, you can do this without any fear that your supply of Jell-O will lose flavor and freshness as it stands on the pantry shelf. You can now buy a dozen packages of Jell-O at one time and know that they will all stay at the peak of their goodness until you want them. Because today, Jell-O's flavor is locked into the Jell-O particles by an exclusive Jell-O process. The tiny Jell-O particles deliver their full-strength flavor to you intact. Now prove it for yourself. Open a package of Jell-O. Notice that there's no telltale aroma, no sign of escaping fragrance and flavor. But the instant you dissolve the Jell-O, you unlock its captive flavor, and out it pours in all its original richness. Tomorrow when you order Jell-O, order several packages. Get all of Jell-O's 6 delicious flavors, and always have a full assortment on hand from which to choose. You can keep Jell-O as long as you please. Its flavor doesn't go away. We put it in, and it's there to stay. The Gay Ranchero, played by the orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my very great honor to bring you a man who last Sunday on this program gave you what was undoubtedly the finest performance of his acting career.
That's right, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
So without further ado, I give you the only actor in America who can make Jekyll and Hyde sound like Brenda and Cobina, Jack Benny.
Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, that may be your idea of a funny introduction. But to ridicule my performance of last Sunday, which everyone hailed as a dramatic nugget, that really burns me up.
Now, take it easy, Jack. I thought you played the part well enough, but I happened to see the picture, and I didn't think you were as good as Spencer Tracy.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well, Don, let me ask you something. Who signs your check every week? Spencer Tracy or the Benny Goose that lays the golden egg? Take that as my thought for today.
But, Jack, you don't seem to understand.
Oh, no.
When Spencer Tracy played the part, there was a decided difference between both characters. But when you did it, I couldn't tell your Jekyll from your Hyde.
Well, you can't tell your stomach from an igloo. So what do you know about it? A fine pal you turned out to be.
Now, Jack.
And don't call me Jack. From now on, you will please address me as Mr. Benny, and I'll call you Mr. Wilson. Is that clear?
Oh, I think you're being very childish about the whole matter. Absolutely childish.
Don't try to bring my age down. Flattery won't help. Remember that, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson? Who's Mr. Wilson?
That hulk over yonder. Listen, Mary, you witnessed my performance last week. What did you think of it?
Well, personally, I thought you were very good as Georgie Jekyll.
I wasn't Jekyll, I was Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll.
Well, in that case, phooey.
Phooey? What do you mean, phooey? I don't get it.
All right, take the word lovely and fool around with us.
Let's see. Lovely, lively, Mr. Benny to you. And let me remind you and Mr. Wilson of something that you both may have forgotten. When I switched from Dr. Jekyll to that horrible Mr. Hyde and that gruesome look came over my face, women in the audience screamed. One of them even fainted.
Well, it won't happen today. They caught that mouse.
Oh, then I guess I can take these bicycle clips off my pants. However, as long as you and Don are in such a critical mood, I'd like to point out that Christmas is only 18 days away.
Why else did you come in mad at everybody?
All right, keep it up, keep it up. You know, I already bought your Christmas present, young lady, but I may exchange it for something cheaper.
Something cheaper?
Yes.
They don't dig a bargain basement that deep.
Well, you worked in more of them than I did. I can go along with a ouch. You do that once more, Miss Livingston. There'll be a... Oh, hello, Dennis.
Oh, Mr. Benny. Gee, was that a performance you gave last week? Was that a performance?
Well, thanks, Dennis. I'm glad you liked it.
Not only me, my whole family thought you were wonderful.
That's nice. I'm glad someone appreciated me.
Listen, Jack, the trouble with you is the minute you do something halfway good, it goes right to your head.
Mr. Benny was wonderful.
Quiet. Why, to hear you talk, Jack, anyone would think you were the biggest ham in Hollywood.
Oh.
I'd like to see a bigger one, by golly.
Well, thanks, Dennis. You tried. Anyway, you thought I was good.
Oh, marvelous. What a performance.
Well, look, kid. I'm making out my Christmas list today, so before singing your song, how about throwing out a few hints? What would you like Uncle Jack to get you?
Well, I thought of a few things, but they're pretty expensive.
Just name them. You're one person in this cast that deserves the best. Wait till I get my pencil here. Now, what do you want, Dennis?
Well, I'd like to have a nice gray suit with a pinstripe.
Okay. One gray suit with pinstripe. Anything else?
Well, I'd love to have a grand piano to practice my songs on.
Okay. One grand piano.
Are you sure you got lead in that pencil, Mr. Benny?
Yes. Now, what else do you want, Dennis?
Well, I've always wanted one of those toy birds on a stick, and when you swing it around your head, the bird goes...
Okay. One bird on stick. Now, what else do you want?
Oh, stop, will you? You're just trying to make Don and me jealous. Dennis isn't going to get all that stuff.
Well, he's getting something he wants.
Gee, I wonder what it is.
I'll give you a hint, kid.
Don't spoil the surprise, for heaven's sake. Now, go ahead with your song, Dennis.
Okay.
Hold it a minute. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
I want to congratulate you on your performance as Mr. Hyde last week. I was so frightened, my hair stood on end.
Your hair? What hair?
Right there. Stand up, Herman.
Oh, get out of here. Herman. Well, I suppose if you only got one hair, you might as well have a name for it. Sing, Dennis.
trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star, the dearest things I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special announcement. The entire regular personnel of the sheriff's and police office has been placed on a 2-platoon basis with 12-hour shift. All auxiliary personnel has been directed to stand by for emergency service instructions. The regular county defense program is functioning in an orderly manner, and citizens are urged to remain calm and avoid all unnecessary confusion because of hysteria. Citizen volunteers are asked to go quietly to their nearest police or fire stations and offer their services if they wish to help. There is no immediate cause for alarm, and coolness will accomplish more than anything else.
A medley of Everything I Love and All the Things You Are, sung by Dennis Day. Very good, Dennis, but what's the idea of singing 2 songs today, huh?
Well, Mr. Benny, I've got 2 girls, and I thought I'd dedicate a number to each of them.
2 girls? Well, that's modern youth for you. You know, Dennis, when I was your age, I was satisfied with only 1 girl. Gussie Bagelquist. Gussie was a dream, yeah.
Is that the girl you sued because she cut you with her buck teeth?
I never sued her. I just told her to get a brace on. Anyway, I was talking to Dennis.
Whatever happened to your girl, Mr. Benny?
Gussie? Oh, I went into vaudeville, and she went away to veterinary college. We sort of drifted apart. She's one of the biggest horse doctors in northern Illinois now. Doing very well, too.
Do you keep in touch with her, Mr. Benny? Do you ever write to her?
Oh, once in a while when he has a cold or something.
Yeah, I had a touch of the flu a couple of weeks ago, and she sent me some pills that were as big as baseballs. And some liniment to rub on my withers. One thing about Gussie, though, I never get a bill from her. That's... Well, look who's here.
Hiya, Jackson. How's my pal?
Don't Jackson or pal me, Mr. Harris. Let me ask you something. Did you or did you not go into the Brown Derby after last Sunday's show and tell people that my acting was putrid?
Last Sunday? Maybe I did. I'd say that lots of times.
Well, you did. You told everybody at your table that I was very bad as Jekyll and Hyde.
How do you know?
Because I've got a waiter there that spies for me.
Naturally, you couldn't tip a waiter just for waiting on you.
Mary, that's a little arrangement between Andre and me.
Yeah, I should have known that waiter was a spy. His mustache fell in my soup.
He wearing a false mustache? I told him not to overdo it. Anyway, Phil, you did run down my performance.
Yeah, but I changed my mind about that. You know, I met one of the greatest dramatic actors in this town last night, and he said you were great. Orson thought you were terrific.
Who, Orson Welles?
No, Orson Buggy. Ain't that a Lou?
Well, that settles it. If I don't get Glenn Miller in my stocking Christmas morning, I'll never write another letter to Santa. And incidentally, Mr. Harris, you better have a good excuse for coming in late today.
Well, I'm sorry, Jackson, but I was out shopping. Say, Mary, you know what I'm getting Alice for Christmas this year?
No, what?
A roaster.
A roaster, say.
You know, for the oven.
That's a roaster. Buys his wife a roaster for Christmas and calls it a roadster.
All right, I'll put wheels on it. That's a Sharpie, eh, Jackson?
It's a Sharpie, eh, Jackson? Sharpie. And don't call me Jackson. I'm Mr. Benny to you and to everybody else on this program except Dennis.
You mean I can call you Jack?
Yes, until I make up with the others. What burns me up, I worked my head off on that play last week and did a swell job.
You sure did, Jack.
And this little episode just shows me who my friends are.
That's telling them, Jack.
After all, I had to follow a pretty good actor in that part, Spencer Tracy. Why, I would never have even tried it if we both hadn't won the Academy Award.
Wait a minute. When did you ever win the Academy Award?
And another thing.
I said, when did you ever win the Academy Award?
And another thing.
Answer my question. When did you win the Academy Award?
I wish I had, brother. Would I have you in a spot? I guess that takes care of you.
You said it, Jackie.
Look, Dennis, just Jack, not Jackie. Give him an inch, she wants to take a whole foot. What a gang. I got a good mind to go home.
Oh, for goodness sake, Jack, will you stop acting like a baby? You ought to know the whole thing was a rib.
Oh, sure.
As a matter of fact, I liked your performance in Jekyll and Hyde so much that I wrote a sequel to it.
Well, ain't you the fat little Noel Coward? Who cares what you wrote?
And Jack, now get this. As a favor to me, I want you to play the leading part in this drama.
I'll tell him when he comes in. You can keep your old sequel.
But you've got to help me out, Jack. There's no one else in the cast with sufficient dramatic ability to handle it.
Look, I'm not going to... Dramatic, eh? Well, all right, Don, I'll do it.
I thought you were mad at him.
Never mind.
You'd go over Niagara Falls in a Dixie cup if someone told you it was dramatic.
What's dramatic about a Dixie cup? Don, you say you've written a sequel to Jekyll and Hyde?
Yes, Jack, but my play is called Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting.
Here's the script.
Thanks. Just a second, Don. I'll give you a build-up. Chord, please. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don Wilson, that eminent American author, has written another of his famous one-act plays. Take it, Don.
The scene is the residence of Mr. and Mrs. Homer D. Hyde in the thriving little town of Upper Plate, Indiana. It is 7:30 p.m. Curtain. Music.
Oh, dear, it's 7:30 and Homer isn't home yet. I wonder if his horse and buggy broke down. Gee, I hope it isn't one of his moods. Ah, here he comes now. Good evening, Homer, dear. You're a little late, aren't you?
All right, I'm late. And I'll be late any time I feel like it.
Aren't you going to kiss me, darling?
Kiss me every night a kiss. I'll kiss you with this umbrella.
Ouch!
I'm going to bed. Good night.
But, Homer, you haven't even said hello to the twins, Otto and Blotto. Say hello to Daddy, children. Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut one more peep out of you kids, and I'll kick your teeth out as soon as they grow in. I'm going to bed now.
But, Homer, darling, you haven't had your dinner yet.
Dinner, every night dinner. I don't want any dinner.
But, Homer, dear, at least have some dessert.
What kind of dessert?
I won't tell you, but I'm sure you like it. Here, have a dish.
Very well. I'll try it. But if I eat it and decide I don't like it, someone will be dead. Murdered.
He's eating the dessert. I do hope he likes it. If not, what will happen to me and Otto and Blotto?
Gee. Oh, boy.
Homer, speak to me. Speak to me.
Oh, my darling. That tasted so good. What is the name of that tempting and economical dessert with a new locked-in process?
Jell-O, dear, and it comes in 6 delicious flavors.
Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and wine.
My sons, at last I love you. congratulations. You wrote a wonderful play.
But, Jack, without you, it would have been impossible. You were even better than last week.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Well, how about a band number, Phil?
Okay, Dowdy.
Hold it. Come in.
Well, Mr. Benny, you did it again.
Were you scared?
Look at Herman. He just won't go down.
What a head he's got. That's the only persimmon I ever saw with brown eyes. Play, Phil.
Another war bulletin. Shanghai. The Japanese took over the American Shanghai Power and Light Company this morning. A bulletin from New York. The Japanese news agency broadcast tonight the Japanese Foreign Minister, Shigenori Togo, summoned U.S. Ambassador Joseph C. Grew and handed to him Japan's reply to Secretary of State Cordell Hull's terms for peace in the Pacific. This news came hours after the bombing of Honolulu. We return you now to Hollywood.
Nango from Weekend in Havana, played by Blotto Harris, and that goes for the whole orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce that next week is a special attraction.
Gee, Mr. Benny, I can't get over the way you played Mr. Hyde just now. Was that a performance?
It thrilled you, eh, Dennis?
I'll say. That crazy laugh just sent shivers right through me.
Well.
The kid's right, Jackson. How'd you ever learn to do that?
Well, Phil, you just have to get into the mood and feel it. You have to imagine that you're a raving maniac.
When was the first time you ever did that crazy laugh, Jack?
Last year at Santa Anita, he lost 3 races in a row.
Never mind.
When they caught him, he was chewing down the grandstand like a beaver.
Well, you'd be mad, too. So let's forget it. Now, as I started to announce, ladies and gentlemen, next week is a special attraction.
You know, Mr. Benny, I'd like to learn how to do that laugh so I can scare my girlfriend.
Oh, it's easy, Dennis.
Gee, I wish you'd show me how to do it, Mr. Benny.
Oh, I don't
Come
feel-
on, Jackson. Do that laugh for us again.
Well, look, Dennis, here's the way you do it. You've got to screw up your face and get it all distorted. Then you rip open your tie and shirt.
Well, don't you have to muss up your hair a little?
My hair?
You know, those 3 Hermans.
That's not important. Anyway, Dennis, once you're in this mood, you read a menacing line and then laugh. Now, get this. I'm going out for a walk now. A nice, long walk. And when I come back, someone will be dead. Murdered. Murdered. Ooh.
What's the matter, Jack?
My jaw slipped out of place. Look at it.
His what?
His jaw slipped out of place.
Get a doctor. Hurry up.
What a performance!
Don't say they're looking at me. Call my doctor.
Gussie Bagelquist, Waukegan 8362.
Not her. Just hold your tongue.
Now, take it easy, Jack. Take it easy.
Oh, it hurts. Just hold still, Jack, and I'll snap your jaw back in place.
All right, hurry up, John.
Now brace yourself.
Okay.
Thanks, Don. Dennis, the next time you want me to show you something, wait till the program's over.
Well, it's your own fault for showing off.
I wasn't showing off. Phil.
Well, I got a few left over from last week.
Put those fish back in the piano. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I started to announce before I dislocated my jaw, next week as a special attraction, the Benny Stock Company is going to present... Oh, now what? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
What do you want?
Boss, it's no use. I tried and I can't get Carmichael to go to sleep.
Rochester, that polar bear's got to go to sleep. He's supposed to have been in hibernation over 10 days ago.
Uh-huh.
If Carmichael doesn't get to sleep by the middle of this month, he'll be a wreck in the spring. Where is he now?
Sitting up in bed reading Esquire.
Esquire? Well, take it away from him.
Oh, come now, boss. He's been around.
I mean, he's got to get to sleep. Now, Rochester, use a little psychology on him. Give him some warm milk. Give him some warm milk, put on his pajamas, and brush his teeth.
Would you mind repeating that slowly, please?
I said give him some warm milk.
Uh-huh.
Put on his pajamas.
Uh-huh.
And brush his teeth.
Uh-uh.
Rochester, what are you afraid of? That bear is as gentle as a lamb. He wouldn't bite you.
He wouldn't, eh?
No.
Then why am I the largest single user of Band-Aids in the USA?
Rochester, listen, Carmichael doesn't hate you. He likes you. He likes everybody.
Then what happened to the gas man?
Nothing happened to the gas man. Carmichael doesn't eat people.
You ought to see that letter he wrote Santa Claus.
What letter?
Dear Santa, please send a fat boy to read the meter.
Oh, stop making things up. Now, you keep Carmichael in bed, and when I come home, I'll sing Rock-a-Bye Baby to him. That'll put him to sleep.
Okay, so long.
So long.
Oh, say, boss.
Now what?
Are you coming home for dinner tonight?
Yes.
Well, that'll finish up the wild duck.
Good. So long. I gotta get that bear to sleep before Christmas, or he'll want a present. Play, Phil. Ooh, my jaw.
Friends, while you're looking through the December magazines in search of an idea for Aunt Martha's Christmas present, keep an eye open for this month's Jell-O page. A full page of Jell-O treats illustrated in such rich, glowing colors that it makes your mouth water just to look at it. One of the desserts is called Jack Benny's Special Apricot Ring, and honestly, friends, I think it's just about the grandest-looking dessert Jell-O ever made. It's an easy recipe, too. Just dissolve 1 package of lemon Jell-O in 1 1/4 cups of hot water. Next, add a dash of salt and 3/4 of a cup of syrup from the canned sliced apricots. Then chill until thickened and fold in 2 1/2 cups of the sliced apricots themselves. When molded, serve with a garnishing of whipped cream, apricot quarters, and green maraschino cherries. And there it is, a golden, glistening mold of juicy sliced apricots and sunny lemon Jell-O. Canned apricots and lemon Jell-O are being featured by many grocers all next week. So get them both and make up this delicious treat. Jell-O makes any gelatin recipe taste extra good because its locked-in flavor gives you all the flavor, always.
This is the last number of the 10th program in the current Jell-O series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. Oh, Mary, you want to have dinner at my house tonight?
No, thanks. I've had so much of that duck, I'm a bigger quack than Gussie.
Don't pay any attention to her, Gussie. Good night, folks. Phil!
Tomorrow, when you visit your grocer's, look at the shelf where you always see those familiar packages of Jell-O. Right beside them, or very near them, you'll spy another Jell-O product. Jell-O puddings in 3 grand flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and butterscotch. You might try Jell-O butterscotch pudding. It's as smooth as cream and simply full of rich, golden butterscotch flavor. A pudding that your whole family will want to enjoy again and again. So when you order Jell-O, order Jell-O puddings, too. They're just like Grandma's, only more so. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacence, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet across an immense ethereal gulf, minds that are to our minds as ours are to the beasts in the jungle, intellects, vast, cool, and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes and slowly and surely drew their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the Great Disillusionment. Near the end of October, business was better. The war scare was over. More men were back at work. Sales were picking up. On this particular evening, October 30th, the Crosley service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radios.
The next 24 hours, not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing a forecast of rain accompanied by wind of light gale force. Maximum temperature 66, minimum 48. This weather report comes to you from the Government Weather Bureau. We take you now to the Meridian Room in the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza Hotel in New York City, we bring you the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra. With a touch of the Spanish, Raymond Raquello leads off with La Compancita.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return you to the music of Raymond Raquello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York.
Now, a tune that never loses favor. The ever-popular Stardust. Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. Due to the unusual nature of this occurrence, we have arranged an interview with the noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey. We return you until then to the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
We are
ready now to take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you now to Princeton, New Jersey.
Carl Phillips speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton. I'm standing in a large semicircular room, pitch black except for an oblong slit in the ceiling. Through this opening, I can see a sprinkling of stars that cast a kind of frosty glow over the intricate mechanism of the huge telescope. The ticking sound you hear is the vibration of the clockwork. Professor Pearson stands directly above me on a small platform, peering through the giant lens. I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen, during any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the ceaseless watch of the heavens, Professor Pearson may be interrupted by telephone or other communications. During this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical centers of the world. Professor, may I begin our questions?
At any time, Mr. Phillips.
Professor, would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet Mars through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Mr. Phillips. A red disk swimming in a blue sea. Transverse stripes across the disk. Quite distinct now because Mars happens to be at the point nearest the Earth, in opposition, as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transverse stripes signify, Professor Pearson?
Not canals, I can assure you, Mr. Phillips. Although that's the popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited. From a scientific viewpoint, the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions peculiar to the planet.
Then you're quite convinced, as a scientist, that living intelligence as we know it does not exist on Mars?
I'd say the chances against it are 1,000 to 1.
And yet, how do you account for these gas eruptions occurring on the surface of the planet at regular intervals?
Phillips, I cannot account for it.
By the way, Professor, for the benefit of our listeners, how far is Mars from the Earth?
Approximately 40 million miles.
Well, that seems a safe enough distance. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Someone has just handed Professor Pearson a message. While he reads it, let me remind you that we are speaking to you from the observatory in Princeton, New Jersey, where we are interviewing the world-famous astronomer, Professor Pearson. One moment, please. Professor Pearson has passed me a message which he has just received. Professor, may I read the message to the listening audience?
Certainly, Mr. Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray of the Natural History Museum, New York. Quote, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered shock of almost earthquake intensity occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate. Signed, Lloyd Gray, Chief of Astronomical Division. Unquote. Professor Pearson, could this occurrence possibly have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Mr. Phillips. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, and its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence. However, we shall conduct a search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, noted astronomer. This is Carl Phillips speaking. We are returning you now to our New York studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. Toronto, Canada. Professor Morse of Macmillan University reports observing a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars between the hours of 7:45 p.m. and 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This confirms earlier reports received from American observatories. Now, nearer home, comes a special bulletin from Trenton, New Jersey. It is reported that at 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene, and we'll have our commentator, Carl Phillips, give you a word picture of the scene as soon as he can reach there from Princeton. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music. We take you now to Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again, out at the Wilmot Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Professor Pearson and myself made the 11 miles from Princeton in 10 minutes. Well, I hardly know where to begin. Paint for you a word picture of a strange scene before my eyes, like something out of a modern Arabian Night. Well, I just got here. I haven't had a chance to look around yet. I guess that's it. Yes, I guess That's the thing directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. Must have struck with terrific force. The ground is covered with splinters of a tree. It must have struck on its way down. But I can see the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. At least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. Has a diameter of, what would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say, what's the diameter of this?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is, well, I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white. There's curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of the police to keep them back. Getting in front of my line. Would you mind standing one side, please? While the police pushing the crowd back. Here's Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm here. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilmot, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilmot.
Well, I was listening to the radio.
Closer and louder, please.
Pardon me?
Louder, please, closer.
Yes. I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsy. That professor fellow was talking about Mars, so I was half chosen and half...
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then what happened?
Well, as I was saying, I was listening to the radio, kind of halfway.
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then you saw something.
Well, not first off. I heard something.
And what did you hear?
A hissing sound like this. Kind of like a 4th of July rocket.
Yes, then what?
I turned my head out the window and would have sworn I was asleep and dreaming.
Yes?
I seen a kind of greenish streak and then zingo. Something smacked the ground. Knocked me clear out of my chair.
Well, were you frightened, Mr. Wilmot?
Well, I ain't quite sure. I reckon I was kind of riled.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Thank you very much.
You want me to tell
No, that's quite all right. That's plenty. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm where this thing has fallen. I wish I could convey the atmosphere, the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars are parked in a field in back of us, and the police are trying to rope off the roadway leading into the farm, but it's no use. They're breaking right through. Cars' headlights throw an enormous spotlight on the pit where the object's half buried. Now, some of the more daring souls now are venturing near the edge. The silhouettes stand out against the metal scene. One man wants to touch the thing. He's having an argument with the policeman. The policeman wins. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned in all this excitement, but it's becoming more distinct. Perhaps you've caught it already on your radio. Listen, please. Do you hear it? The curious humming sound that seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here. Now, we're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear it now? Professor Pearson?
Yes,
can you tell us the meaning of that scraping noise inside the thing?
Possibly the unequal cooling of its surface.
I say, do you still think it's a meteor, Professor?
I don't know what to think. The metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in a meteorite. This thing is smooth, and you can see its cylindrical shape.
Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw, and the thing must be hollow.
He's moving. Keep back. Keep those men back. Keep back. Keep those idiots back. He's off. The top flew. Go down. Stand back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Something I can see coming out of that black hole through luminous discs. The eyes, it might be a face, might be almost... Good heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but that face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black, and they gleam like a serpent. The mouth is kind of V-shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips. It seems to quiver and pulsate. The monster, or whatever it is, can hardly move. It seems weighed down by possibly gravity or something. The thing's rising up now, and the crowd falls back. They see plenty. The most extraordinary experience, ladies and gentlemen. I can't find words. Well, I'll pull this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the description until I can take a new position. Hold on, will you, please? I'll be right back in a minute.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmot Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. We now return you to Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back of a stone wall that adjoins Mr. Wilmot's garden. From here, I get a sweep of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk and as long as I can see. More state police have arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit. About 30 of them. No need to push the crowd back now. They're willing to keep their distance. The captain is conferring with someone. Can't quite see who. Oh, yes, I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves around one side, studying the object while his captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Flag of truce. If those creatures know what that means, what anything means. Wait a minute, something's happening. Humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springs from the mirror and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lord, they're turning into flames. The whole field caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks of the automobiles spreading everywhere. Coming this way now, about 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return to that point at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, we have a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Indelkoffer, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society, expressed the opinion that the explosions on Mars are undoubtedly nothing more than severe volcanic disturbances on the surface of the planet. We continue now with our piano interlude.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill. Their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by special pass issued by state or military authorities. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range of military operations. Thank you.
You have just been listening to General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. The combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside. We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to... Just one moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eyewitness of the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he has established an emergency observation post. As a scientist, he will give you his explanation of the calamity. The next voice you hear will be that of Professor Pearson, brought to you by direct wire. Professor Pearson.
Of the creatures in the rocket cylinder at Grover's Mill, I can give you no authoritative information, either as to their nature, their origin, or their purposes here on Earth. Of their destructive instrument, I might venture some conjectural explanation. For want of a better term, I shall refer to the mysterious weapon as a heat ray. It's all too evident that these creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. It's my guess that in some way they are able to generate an intense heat in a chamber of practically absolute non-conductivity. This intense heat they project in a parallel beam against any object they choose by means of a polished parabolic mirror of unknown composition, much as the mirror of a lighthouse projects a beam of light. That is my conjecture of the origin of the heat ray.
Thank you, Professor Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a bulletin from Trenton. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Carl Phillips has been identified in the Trenton Hospital. Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C. The Office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of the state militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's a bulletin from State Police, Princeton Junction. The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under control. Scouts report all quiet in the pit, and there is no sign of life appearing from the mouth of the cylinder. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special statement from Mr. Harry McDonald, Vice President in charge of operations.
We have received a request from the state militia of Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facilities. In view of the gravity of the situation, and believing that radio has a responsibility to serve in the public interest at all times, we are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton.
We take you now to the field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
This is Captain Lansing of the Signal Corps, attached to the state militia, now engaged in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control. The cylindrical object, which lies in a pit directly below our position, surrounded on all sides by 8 battalions of infantry, without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm, if such cause ever existed, is now entirely unjustified. Things, whatever they are, do not even venture to poke their heads above the pit. I can see their hiding place plainly in the glare of the searchlights here. With all their reported resources, these creatures can scarcely stand up against heavy machine gun fire. Anyway, it's an interesting outing for the troops. I can make out their khaki uniforms crossing back and forth in front of the lights. Looks almost like a real war. There appears to be some slight smoke in the woods bordering the Millstone River. Probably fire started by campers. Well, we ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is deploying on the left flank. A quick thrust and it'll all be over. Oh, wait a minute. I see something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilmot Farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. A tub, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. It's going higher and higher. What? It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle which took place tonight at Grover Mills has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by an army in modern times. 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against a single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat ray. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey and has effectively cut the state through its center. Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean. Railroad tracks are torn and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued, except routing some of the trains through Allerton and Phoenixville. Highways to the north, south, and west are clogged with frantic human traffic. Police and army reserves are unable to control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swelled Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton. It is estimated to twice their normal population. Martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. At this time, we take you to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency. The Secretary of the Interior.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation that confronts the country, nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of its people. However, I wish to impress upon you, private citizens and public officials, all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action. Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area, and we may place our faith in the military forces to keep them there. In the meantime, placing our faith in God, we must continue the performance of our duties, each and every one of us, so that we may confront this destructive adversary with a nation united, courageous, and consecrated to the preservation of human supremacy on this earth. I thank you.
You have just heard the Secretary of the Interior speaking from Washington. Bulletins too numerous to read are piling up in the studio here. We're informed that the central portion of New Jersey is blacked out from radio communication due to the effect of the heat ray upon power lines and electrical equipment. Here's a special bulletin in New York. Cables have been received from English, French, and German scientific bodies offering assistance. Astronomers report continued gas outbursts at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The majority voiced the opinion that the enemy will be reinforced by additional rocket machines. There have been several attempts made to locate Professor Pearson of Princeton, who has observed Martians at close range. It is feared he was lost in the recent battle. Langham Field, Virginia. Scouting planes report 3 Martian machines visible above treetops, moving north toward Somerville with population fleeing ahead of them. The heat ray is not in use, although advancing at express train speed. Invaders pick their way carefully. They seem to be making a conscious effort to avoid destruction of cities and countryside. However, they stop to uproot power lines, bridges, and railroad tracks. Their apparent objective is to crush resistance, paralyze communication, and disorganize human society. Here is a bulletin from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Coon hunters have stumbled on a second cylinder similar to the first, embedded in the Great Swamp 20 miles south of Morristown. Army field pieces are proceeding from Newark to blow up the second invading unit before the cylinder can be opened and the fighting machine rigged. They're taking up a position in the foothills of Watchung Mountains. Another bulletin from Langham Field, Virginia. Scouting planes report enemy machines, now 3 in number, increasing speed northward, kicking over houses and trees in their evident haste to form a conjunction with their allies south of Morristown. Machines also sighted by telephone operator east of Middlesex within 10 miles of Plainfield. Here's a bulletin from Winston-Field, Long Island. A fleet of Army bombers carrying heavy explosives flying north in pursuit of enemy. Scouting planes act as guides. They keep the speeding enemy in sight. Just a moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. We've run special wires to the artillery line and adjacent villages to give you direct reports from the zone of the advancing enemy. First, we take you to the battery of the 22nd Field Artillery, located in the Watchung Mountains.
Range 32 meters. 32 meters. Projection 39 degrees. 39 degrees. Fire. 140 yards to the right, sir. Shift range 31 meters. 31 meters. Projection 37 degrees. 37 degrees. Fire. Hit that. Got the tripod of one of them. That's off. The others are trying to repair it. Quick, get the range. Shift 30 meters. 30 meters. Projection 27 degrees. 27 degrees. Fire. Can't see the shell lamp, sir. Letting off a smoke. What is it? Black smoke, sir. Moving this way. Flying close to the ground. Moving fast. Put on gas mask. Get ready to fire. Shift to 24 meters. 24 meters. Projection 24 degrees. 24 degrees. Fire. Still can't see, sir. Smoke's coming nearer. Get the range. 50 meters. 23 meters. 43 meters. Projection 22 degrees. 22 degrees.
Army bombing plane B-843 off Bayonne, New Jersey. Lieutenant Both, commanding 8 bombers, reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. This is Both reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. Enemy tripod machines now in sight. Reinforced by 3 machines from the Morristown cylinder. 6 altogether. 1 machine partially crippled. Believed hit by shell from Army gun in Watchung Mountains. Guns now appear silent. A heavy black fog hanging close to the earth of extreme density, nature unknown. No sign of heat ray. Enemy now turns east, crossing Passaic River in the Jersey marshes. Another straddles the Pulaski Skyway. Evident objective is New York City. They're pushing down a high-tension power station. Machines are close together now, and we're ready to attack. Planes circling, ready to strike. 1,000 yards, and we'll be over the first. 800 yards. 600. 400. 200. There they go. Giant arm raised. Green flash. Spraying us with flame. 2,000 feet. Engines are giving out. No chance to release bombs. Only one thing left. Drop on them, plane and all. We're diving on the first one. Now the engine's gone. 8. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. Come in, please.
This is Langham Field. Go ahead.
8 Army bombers in engagement with enemy tripod machines over Jersey Flats. Engines incapacitated by heat ray. All crashed. 1 enemy machine destroyed. Enemy now discharging heavy black smoke in direction of...
This is Newark, New Jersey. This is Newark, New Jersey. Warning. poisonous black smoke pouring in from Jersey marshes. Police at South Street. Gas masks useless. Urge population to move into open spaces. Automobiles use routes 7, 23, 24. Avoid congested areas. Smoke now spreading over Raymond Boulevard.
2X2L calling CQ, 2X2L calling CQ, 2X2L calling 8X3R. Come in, please.
This is 8X3R coming back at 2X2L.
How's reception? How's reception? Okay, please. Where are you, 8X3R? What's the matter? Where are you?
I'm speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building. I'm speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as the Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchison River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Avoid bridges to Long Island, hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our army is wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. This may be the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end. People are holding service here below us in the cathedral. Now I look down the harbor, all manner of boats, overloaded with fleeing population pulling out from docks. Streets are all jammed. Noise in crowds like New Year's Eve in city. Wait a minute, the enemy's now in sight above the palisades. Five great machines. First one is crossing the river. I can see it from here, wading the Hudson like a man wading through a brook. A bulletin is handed me. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. One outside of Buffalo, one in Chicago, St. Louis. Seem to be timed and spaced. Now the first machine reaches the shore. He stands watching, looking over the city. Steel cowlish head is even with the skyscrapers. He waits for the others. They rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands. This is the end now. Smoke comes out, black smoke drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running toward the East River, thousands of them, dropping in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reached Times Square. People are trying to run away from it, but it's no use. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke's crossing 6th Avenue. 5th Avenue. 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
Calling CQ. 2X2L calling CQ. 2X2L calling CQ, New York. Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone? 2X2L.
You are listening to a CBS presentation of Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in an original dramatization of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. The performance will continue after a brief intermission. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air.
I set down these notes on paper, I'm obsessed by the thought that I may be the last living man on Earth. I've been hiding in this empty house near Grover's Mill, a small island of daylight cut off by the black smoke from the rest of the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now seems part of another life. A life that has no continuity with the present. Furtive existence of the lonely derelict who pencils these words on the back of some astronomical notes bearing the signature of Richard Pearson. I look down at my blackened hand, and I try to connect them with a professor who lives at Princeton and who, on the night of October 20th, glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleagues, my students, my books, my observatory, my world. Where are they? Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pearson? What day is it? Do days exist without calendars? Does time pass when there are no human hands left to wind the clocks? Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I shall preserve human history between the dark covers of this little book that was meant to record the movements of the stars. But to write, I must live, and to live, I must eat. Find molded bread in the kitchen and an orange not too spoiled to swallow. Keep watch at the window. Time to time, I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. The smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but at length there's a hissing sound, and suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam as if to dissipate the smoke. I watch in a corner as his huge metal legs nearly brush against the house. Exhausted by terror, I fall asleep. Morning. Morning. Sun streams in the window. The black cloud of gas is lifted, and the scorched meadows to the north look as though a black snowstorm had passed over them. I venture from the house. I make my way to a road, no traffic. Here and there, a wrecked car, baggage overturned, a blackened skeleton. Push on north. For some reason, I feel safer trailing these monsters than running away from them. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians feed. Should one of their machines appear over the top of trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut tree. October. Chestnuts are ripe. Fill my pockets. I must keep alive. 2 days I wander in a vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally, I notice a living creature. A small red squirrel in a beech tree. I stare at him and wonder. He stares back at me. I believe at that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. The joy of finding another living being. Push on north. I find dead cows in a brackish field, and beyond the charred ruins of a dairy and a silo remain standing guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted by the sea. Astride the silo perches a weathercock. The arrow points north. North. Next day, I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off as if a giant had sliced off its highest towers with a capricious sweep of his hand. Reached the outskirts, I found Newark. Newark, undemolished but humbled by some whim of the advancing Martians. Presently, with an odd feeling of being watched, I caught sight of something crouching in a doorway. I made a step towards it. It rose up and became a man. A man armed with a large knife.
Stop! Where do you come from?
I come from many places. A long time ago, from Princeton.
Princeton, huh? That's near Grover's Mill.
Yes.
Grover's Mill. There's no food here. This is my country. All this end of town down the river. There's only food for one. Which way are you going?
I don't know. I guess I'm looking for people.
Hey, what was that? Did you hear something just then?
No. Only a bird. A live bird.
You get to know that birds have shadows these days. Say, we're in the open here. Let's crawl in this doorway here and talk.
Have you seen any Martians?
No. They're going over to New York. Night, the sky's alive with their lights, just as if people were still living in it. By daylight, you can't see them. 5 days ago, a couple of them carried something big across the flats from the airport. I think they're learning how to fly.
Fly?
Yeah, fly.
Well, it's all over with humanity. Stranger, there's still you and I. 2 of us left.
Yeah. They got themselves in solid. They wrecked the greatest country in the world. Those green stars, they're probably falling somewhere every night. They've only lost 1 machine. There isn't anything to do. We're done. We're licked.
Where were you? You're in a uniform.
Yeah, what's left of it. I was in the militia. National Guard. That's good. There wasn't any war. Any more than there's war between men and ants.
Yes, but we're eatable ants. I found that out. What'll they do to us?
I thought it all out. Right now, we're caught as we're wanted. The Martian only has to go a few miles to get a crowd on the run. But they won't keep on doing that. They'll begin catching us systematic, like keeping the best and storing us in cages and things. They haven't begun on us yet.
Begun?
Not begun. All that's happened so far is because we don't have sense enough to keep quiet. Bothering them with guns and such stuff and losing our heads and rushing off in crowds. Now, instead of our rushing around blind, we got to fix ourselves up. Fix ourselves up according to the way things are now. Cities, nations, civilization, progress.
Yes, but if that's so, what is there to live for?
Well, there won't be any more concerts for 1,000,000 years or so, and no nice little dinners at restaurants. If it's amusement you're after, I guess the game's up.
What is there left?
Life, that's what. I want to live. Yeah, and so do you. We're not going to be exterminated. And I don't mean to be caught either. Tamed and fattened and bred like an ox.
What are you going to do?
I'm going on. Right under their feet. I got a plan. We men, as men, we're finished. We don't know enough. We got to learn plenty before we got a chance. We've got to live and keep free while we learn, see? I've thought it all out, see?
Well, tell me the rest.
Well, it isn't all of us that are made for wild beasts. That's what it got to. That's what it got to be. That's why I watched you. Watched you. All those little office workers that used to live in these houses. They be no good. They haven't any stuff in them. They used to run off to work. I've seen hundreds of them running to catch their commuter's train in the morning, afraid they'd get canned if they didn't. Running back at night, afraid they wouldn't be in time for dinner. Lives insured and a little invested in case of accidents. Yeah, and on Sundays, worried about the hereafter. Well, the Martians, they'll be a godsend for those guys. Nice, roomy cages, good food, careful breeding, no worries. Yeah, after a week or so of chasing around the fields on empty stomachs, they'll come and be glad to be caught.
You've thought it all out, haven't you?
Sure, you bet I have. That isn't all. These Martians are going to make pets of some. Train them to do tricks. Who knows, get sentimental over the pet boy who grew up and had to be killed. Yeah, and some maybe, they'll train to hunt us.
Oh, no, it's impossible. Human
Yes,
beings.
they will. There's men who do it gladly. If one of them ever comes after me, by...
In the meantime, you and I and others like us, where are we to live when the Martians own the Earth?
I got it all figured out. Live underground. I've been thinking about the sewers. Under New York, there are miles and miles of them. The main ones, they're big enough for anybody. And there's cellars, vaults, underground storerooms, railway tunnels, subways. You begin to see, huh? They got a bunch of strong men together. No weak. That rubbish, out.
As you meant me to go.
All right. Give you a chance, didn't I?
Won't quarrel about that. Go on.
Well, we got to make safe places for us to stay in, see? Get all the books we can. Science books. That's where men like you come in, see? We raid the museums. We'll even spy on the Martians. May not be so much we have to learn before... Listen, just imagine this. 4 or 5 of their own fighting machines suddenly start off. Heat rays right and left. Not a Martian in them. Not a Martian in them, see? But men. Men who've learned the way how. Maybe in our time. Gee, imagine having one of them lovely things with a heat ray wide and free. We'd turn it on Martians. We'd turn it on men. We'd bring everybody down on their knees.
That's your plan.
Yeah. You, me, a few more of us. We'd own the world.
I see.
Hey. Hey, what's the matter? Where are you going?
Not to your world. Bye, stranger. Well, after parting with the artilleryman, I came at last to the Holland Tunnel, entered that silent tube, anxious to know the fate of the great city on the other side of the Hudson. Cautiously, I came out of the tunnel and made my way up Canal Street. Reached 14th Street, and there again were black powder and several bodies and an evil, ominous smell from the gratings of the cellars of some of the houses. I wandered up through the 30s and 40s, stood alone on Times Square, caught sight of a lean dog running down 7th Avenue with a piece of dark brown meat in his jaws and a pack of starving mongrels at his heels. Made a wide circle around me as though he feared I might prove a fresh competitor. Walked up Broadway in the direction of that strange powder, past silent shop windows, displaying their mute wares to empty sidewalks. Past the Capitol Theater, silent, dark. Past a shooting gallery where a row of empty guns faced an arrested line of wooden ducks. Near Columbus Circle, I noticed models of 1939 motor cars in the showrooms facing empty streets. Over the top of the General Motors building, I watched a flock of black birds circling in the sky. Hurried on. Suddenly, I caught sight of the hood of a Martian machine, standing somewhere in Central Park, gleaming in the late afternoon sun. An insane idea. I rushed recklessly across Columbus Circle and into the park. I climbed a small hill above the pond at 60th Street, and from there I could see standing in a silent row along the mall 19 of those great metal titans, their cowls empty, their steel arms hanging listlessly by their sides. I looked in vain for the monsters that inhabit those machines. Suddenly, my eyes were attracted to the immense flock of black birds that hovered directly below me. They circled to the ground. And there before my eyes, stark and silent, lay the Martians with the hungry birds pecking and tearing brown shreds of flesh from their dead bodies. Later, when their bodies were examined in laboratories, it was found that they were killed by the putrefactive and disease bacteria against which their systems were unprepared. Slain, after all, man's defenses had failed by the humblest thing that God, His wisdom, has put upon this earth. Before the cylinder fell, there was a general persuasion that through all the deep of space, no life existed beyond the petty surface of our minute sphere. Now we see further. Dim and wonderful is the vision I've conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seedbed of the solar system throughout the inanimate vastnesses of sidereal space. But a remote dream, maybe that the destruction of the Martians is only a reprieve to them and not to us. The future ordained, perhaps. Strange it now seems to sit in my peaceful study in Princeton, writing down this last chapter of the record, begun at a deserted farm in Grover's Mill. Strange to watch children playing in the streets. Strange to see young people strolling on the green where the new spring grass heals the last black scars of a bruised earth. Strange to watch the sightseers enter the museum where the disassembled parts of a Martian machine are kept on public view. Strange when I recall the time when I first saw it. Bright and clean-cut, hard and silent under the dawn of that last great day. This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character, to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. The Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows and steal all your garden gates by tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian. It's Halloween.
Tonight, the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations coast to coast has brought you The War of the World by H.G. Wells, the 17th in its weekly series of dramatic broadcasts featuring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air. Next week, we present a dramatization of 3 famous short stories. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America.
With his faithful valet, Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with the underworld, risking his life that criminals and racketeers within the law may feel its weight by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed as he races toward another thrilling adventure. The Green Hornet strikes again.
Like the racetrack racket. Come on, Firefly. Hug the rail, that's the baby. We're up in front, we're in the back. Hold it, boy. Right it. Let it out now. You got the whole back stretched the ramble in. Pick him up and lay him down. Come on, Firefly. Come on, Firefly.
It was just past dawn at the hillside racetrack. The morning mist still hung heavy across the paddock and the stables. Stretched in level layers across the track where the horses were getting their early morning workout. On the rail, a jockey perched a little distance from a heavy-set man.
They're coming around the backstretch now, Jerry. They're coming.
Don't forget to clock him.
That's Firefly in front.
Can't see in this mist.
I know how he sounds when he runs. That's Firefly. Come on, Firefly. Come on, boy. Pick him up, baby. Come on. Come on, Firefly.
Talking to me?
The name Jerry?
It might be.
It's okay. I'm from the newspaper.
Oh, okay.
Where can we talk?
Well, what's the matter with right here?
The kid. You don't want any leaks. Want to keep this story exclusive, get it?
Okay. We can go over toward the stable.
Right with you. Plenty foggy, ain't it?
Here they come. Here they come. I got the clock on Firefly. Got it. Jerry, I got the clock. Firefly did a mile in one. Jerry. Gosh, he ain't here.
Okay. Guess there's nobody to listen now.
I didn't expect you so soon.
The newspaper goes to press. Boss didn't want any story to miss the first edition. This better be good. I ain't used to getting up so early. Shoot.
Oh, mister, I like horse racing, see? I've been around racetracks since I was old enough to stub my toe on a horseshoe. I worked as jockey, trainer, handler, starter, groom.
Yeah, never mind the personal history, huh?
I don't get you.
Just give me the facts.
Well, mister, Firefly is a favorite to cop the big race.
The Centralia Stakes?
Yeah.
Is that your story? Everybody knows that.
Oh, wait, Willie, you're beating the start. Firefly's the favorite, but there's going to be some dirty work.
Go ahead.
I got it straight. The race is going to be fixed.
Fixed, huh? Don't Wallaby own Firefly?
Oh, Wallaby's as straight as a string. I don't mean him. He never done anything crooked in his life. I mean professional gamblers. That's why I call the paper.
You know a lot, don't you?
I've been around. You don't talk like a newspaper man. How do I know you're from the Sentinel?
Where else would I be from?
I don't know. Got one of them press cards?
I left it home. Now, come on.
Hey, maybe you ain't a newspaper man at all. I tell you, you get your press card, and I'll talk.
Don't be nuts, I tell you.
What in... Who's that?
I'm called Mr. X.
Mr. X? I thought that was a gag.
The Sentinel carries stories about Mr. X, but I thought...
Tell us what you thought, Jerry. Tell us everything. Hear that car coming along the road? There'll be more people around soon. The sun will burn away the fog. Tell us everything.
This fella, he ain't a newspaper man. He ain't a newspaper man at all. Better watch where you're driving, Reed.
I wish I could, Axford. This fog is still very heavy. You're the one who got that phone call last night?
Yeah, Reed. I was sitting in the city room when the phone rings. I picks it up and says it's the Sentinel. The fellow whispers to come to the track around dawn and ask for Jerry. He says he wants to tell us about a racetrack scheme, a crooked scheme.
Just ask for Jerry, huh?
That's all, just Jerry. Golly, Reed, you could have knocked me over with a feather bed when you said you'd come along with me this morning. And so early.
That's nice this time of the morning, Axford.
It will be when the fog lets up. Hey, slow down. That looks like something up ahead.
Yes.
It's a string of horses.
Coming in from exercise. Hello.
Oh, is that you, Jerry? Oh, I thought you was Jerry.
No, son. We're looking for a man named Jerry. That's a fine-looking horse you've got.
That's Firefly. Jerry and I were watching him do a mile, but when I turned around, Jerry was gone. First time he ever walked right away in the middle of a timing. We're from the Sentinel. He was expecting it.
Oh, that's odd. You don't know where he's gone?
No, sir.
He just wandered off?
Well, I had a kind of feeling someone was talking to him, but I was so excited clocking Firefly I didn't notice. Firefly worked a mile in 1:38.
I see. Well...
Look up. Steady, Firefly. Please, hold it close. Don't push out.
Over this way. Come on, Axford.
Firefly, stop that cutting up. Stop it. Who'd be shooting this time of day?
Over this low fence, Axford.
This doggone fog.
Running out, Axford. We...
Suffering snakes.
Axford, this man's been shot.
Lying on the ground.
Roll him over so we can see his face.
Golly.
Poor fellow. He's dead, Axford.
Firefly was nervous. I came as fast. Mister, that's Jerry.
Jerry mustn't cry, son. Jerry's dead.
Please, everybody stay out. Go on about your business. Stay out.
Came as soon as I heard the terrible news. You must be Mr. Reed.
You're Wallaby?
Yes, sir. Bobby, I reckon you best get down to the tack room, eh?
I can't do anything now.
Of course you can. You took Firefly back to his stall, didn't you? Brushed him down and fixed him up fine. I want somebody to check over his saddle and stuff.
Jerry's dead. Murdered.
Yeah, Bobby. There's nobody I can trust now except you. You understand?
I'll do it.
Yeah. And he'll feel a heap sight better without something to do.
Mr. Wallaby, how was your groom killed?
Was it murder?
He called the Sentinel last night. He said the Centralia Stakes is fixed. He'd give us the inside story.
Fixed? Oh, it can't be.
So he couldn't learn a thing over the phone.
That's impossible. Firefly's a favorite, and there's not a chance of them losing. It couldn't be fixed. Jerry must have been killed in some private quarrel.
I sent my reporter back to the paper. There wasn't a single clue to the murderer.
A fixed horse race. The racing commission investigates everything. It's not possible.
Well, that might be for me.
Ooh. Hello? Mr. Reed? Oh, just a second. Here you are, sir.
Hello?
Hello. Boss, Lowry talking.
Lowry? Is Axford there?
Just came in with the news, boss. He said you wanted me to call.
Anything stirring?
Tell Reed I'm talking to the police department right now, Lowry. I got him on this other phone.
Okay, Axford. Boss, Axford's got the police. What about a headline on that? Gotta get through quickly to copy.
Hello, man. How about it? You ain't even got a clue. Suffering snake. What's the police department for? Can you beat that, Casey? The cops don't know nothing.
Do you?
Huh?
Well, admit it happened almost under your nose.
Golly, we couldn't see nothing. There was a fog, Casey.
Sure, and you have a fog in your mind, too. How do you expect the police to dig up news when you couldn't?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Boss, what do you mean? This is John or Jerry. Get off my desk, Axford. To start spilling, Axford, while I set up page one.
All right, what lit a fire under you? What did Mr. Reed say?
Did you ever hear of Mr. X?
It's murder?
The boss said it's not for publication because it can't be proved yet, but he told me a Rossiter gang's behind that killing.
Great cat gambler?
Yes, as good a guess as any.
But you said Mr. X was
Why
behind it.
not? The boss figures the Rossiter mob, and he figures Mr. Rex is behind the Rossiter mob. And, sister, my money says he's right. Come on, Axford, stop mumbling, give.
I can't play no cards. Do me out.
Sitting here. Hey, come on, you guys.
Logan, here, Rossiter. I see you give me the high sign. I'm in my office. just got a phone call from the head man.
Who is this, Mr. X, Rossiter?
He says he talked to you when you killed Jerry this a.m.
Yeah.
You didn't see him?
No, it's too foggy. He gave me the office to pull the trigger.
Okay, forget it.
Oh, yeah?
No cracks. It don't pay to keep thinking about Mr. X, see?
Listen, Rossiter, let me ask you one thing. When you came out of the state pen, right away you built up a gang. You went into prison broke, but you had plenty after. Did you get that dough in prison? Did you get it from Mr. X?
Make your own answers. You don't get any from me.
Listen, I done murder. I got a right to...
You're getting paid. Shut up. Now, you ready for orders?
Okay.
Who knows that Firefly horse?
Jerry did.
Jerry's dead. Jockey?
Bringing a new boy on from the coast. Won't see Firefly till he gets the boot up into the saddle before the race.
Yeah, which is the day after tomorrow.
So?
The Sentinel and all the rest of the newspapers call that murder a personal quarrel, Logan. That doesn't say nothing about maybe it's a gambling syndicate job.
It's the anger, Rossiter. Just have it.
We got a whole room full of phones behind this other door, Logan. I just give all the boys orders. Listen.
Hey, Chicago, play 10 pounds on the nose. What have you got again? Yeah. Number 1, make it 5G. All right.
You get it? The boys are laying the bankroll on Stingaree to cop the Centralia Stakes day after tomorrow.
Rossiter, you gone nuts? Race stewards will be watching. Stingaree can't come close to Firefly.
We ain't using dope.
You better not. They'll spot it fast.
Firefly won't be in that race. Huh? Come on, we'll go down to the garage. I want to show you something. Mr. X told me to do it tonight. That means just you and me. That way there won't be no slip-up. Good thing I had you planted at the racetrack, watching all of them. You might never have spotted Jerry making that phone call.
We're doing what tonight?
Take a gander, Logan.
It's a horse thing.
Yeah, with a horse in it.
Well, Rossiter, that horse. That's Firefly.
No, it ain't.
It is Firefly.
No, it ain't, Logan. That's Firefly's brother. Dead ringer for him, huh?
Well, I swear it was the same horse.
Sure. So would everybody that sees him in a big race. Firefly's a sure winner, Logan. But this horse can't run worth a lick. Now, with him in instead of Firefly, Stingaree wins in a cakewalk. That's what we're fixing tonight. We're going out to the racetrack tonight. We're leaving this horse and we're taking Firefly away. You get it?
Mr. Blake, you sure we do wise thing? It's very dangerous coming here to racetrack.
And it's dark. We can stay outside. Stable's dark. We leave the car here. Take a look. Cato.
Mr. Blake, what is horse walking for this time, man?
Look, over there.
They've taken the truck. Mr. Blake, something very strange. We must go after him.
No, Cato.
But, Mr. Blake...
This way.
But this way goes to stable, Mr. Blake. What about truck? What about horse?
I want to see Firefly stall.
I don't understand. Oh, it's all right, sir. There's Firefly. He's not been taken away. I'm so much relieved.
Wait a minute, Cato. There's something else.
Sir, I told you somebody was at Firefly stall. I see him. He's wearing a mask.
Cato, quick, back to the Black Beauty.
Sir, they go get him. Firefly. Firefly, you all right, boys? Did they do anything to you? Stop that car. Stop it. It's the Green Hornet. It's the Green Hornet.
Now to continue our story. In spite of the appearance and the narrow escape of the Green Hornet at the racetrack, the gamblers made the substitution of the horses and got away with a favorite, Firefly. The following morning, at a hideaway far from the racetrack...
Big raw-boned ape. Kick at me and I'll bust you across the muzzle with this whip again. Logan, hey, Logan. Rossiter. horse gives me the willies. He's tough.
He don't like you. Well, what's the difference?
Clip him.
Hey, no, you don't. You gotta put him back after his double loses that race.
Oh, that's from Mr. X, I suppose.
Yeah.
Why not get rid of the nag?
Don't be a dope. Someday they'll find out about that switch. Might call off all bets, start an investigation. Now, this way's better.
The dough well placed.
150,000 so far. Spread all over the country. We'll clean up.
You called on the phone?
Yeah. And you know all that shooting we heard? You know what it was?
Wasn't it us? You were already on our way.
It was the Green Hornet.
Huh?
Yeah, the Green Hornet. He showed up at the stables. They fired at him, but he took a powder.
What's the Hornet mixing in this for?
I don't know.
Is he a pal of Mr. Rex or what?
Search me. But I think I better head for town. I'm going to be on the spot in case there's more dope.
You mean I got to stay out here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, but I don't like it.
Oh, it's only for a day and a night. Not until tomorrow.
What? Buster, that door was open.
Must have been the wind slammed it shut. Nobody out here?
Yeah, nobody now. But I could swear I saw somebody looking in that door. A little guy with a dark skin and wearing a mask.
I tell you, Casey, my theory is that the Green Hornet done that racetrack murder.
Prove it, expert.
Holy crow, I'm going to. Just because the police can't get the answer, that don't mean Michael Arch would.
Excuse me, Mr. Pitt.
Hello, what are you doing, Mr.
Yeah.
He is in? Well, yes, but he's had you.
Hey, wait. You can't go into Reed's office. He's talking on the telephone.
No, Commissioner, the Daily Sentinel will give you all the help you need.
Mr. Pitt, easy, please.
I'll call you back, Commissioner. Cato, you trailed the van?
That is true, yes. Like you say, I trailed Van in Black Beauty. Then I come back this morning early and put car in hiding place. Mr. Pitt, you correct, sir. Gamblers, they steal horse named Firefly. Tonight, we get busy, yes? It's 8 o'clock, Mr. Pitt. Now it's time for us to go, yes?
There's been a lot of money bet on the second choice horse in tomorrow's race, Cato. Undercover money.
Horse named Stingery?
Yes. If Firefly doesn't run in that race, Cato...
Yes, Mr. Pitt. It make much money for crooked gambler. Is it not so?
We've got to put Firefly back in that race.
I understand, Mr. Pitt. And we must do it without gambler know about it, yes? If not so, then they withdraw all their money.
The car's below.
Black Beauty ready to travel. Should I open sliding panel to go hiding place of car?
The sliding panel opened. Carrying the Hornet mask and the gas weapons, Britt Reed and Cato stepped through. Then went along a narrow passage built within the wall of the apartment house itself. A passage that led directly to the adjoining building. Seen from the streets, this building looked abandoned, deserted. But within stood the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Britt Reed crossed the concrete floor, swiftly seated himself behind the wheel of the huge auto. Cato slipped in beside him. The doors slammed, the motor roared. As the great car leaped forward, a section of the wall slid up on oiled hinges, and the Black Beauty rushed into the darkness and the night.
There's place, Mr. Britt.
No legs.
Perhaps one called Reuben has retired for night.
Where was the horse kept?
Barn over this way. The van was inside.
Oh, let's see if...
Mr. Britt, door to stable is wide open. Van is gone. I think when I leave here that maybe I was seen. Perhaps Reuben gets nervous. Perhaps he go away fast. Gone. The horse was here. He also gone. What shall we do?
Cato, look, tire tracks. Back to the car. We've got to trail that van. We've got to locate it. Hurry.
Heading west, Logan.
Look, Mr. X. Roger told me to stay there, but I know I seen someone looking in this morning. If you hadn't dropped around, I might have taken a powder anyway.
5 miles further, there's an abandoned farm. Use that.
What about Rossiter?
I'll let Rossiter know. Careful, you fool. Don't waste time stealing glances at me.
You've got your head pulled down. Your coat collar turned up. I can't get a good look at you, Mr. X. Here, there's a car. Way behind us. They're coming fast.
The car?
Hey, what's the idea?
Getting off here, Logan. I can't afford to be in any trouble.
No.
With your brakes off, get rolling. Lose it. The Great Hornet.
Lose it? all I gotta do, he said. He got some Millie's. Hey, he said the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet. I gotta find a place I can turn off the road. Drive with no lights. I got coming like a street. I can't get any place. Stop. I'll get out. Just direct get to it. Why not? Hey, end of the line, Logan. Don't hurt it. You jump right to the truck. Slow down. I'll knock that mask off. You're asking for it? I got it. Yes, the wheel. Mr. Bliss, that very narrow escape. Truck go very fast. I see you give him gas.
Take a look at the horse. Firefly, easy, boy. We're taking you back where you belong.
What do we do with Crook?
Roll him off and leave him at the side of the road.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bliss.
Well?
Mr. Truck go very fast. Horse bounce around inside. Maybe when we get him to race, him not so fast anyway. Maybe him lose race anyway, yes?
We've no time to waste. We got to get working fast.
Hiya, Casey. What's this?
Just work, Lowry. Just plain old-fashioned work.
I don't suppose the boss is in.
This early in the morning? Don't be silly.
Oh, it's too bad you're a slave to that typewriter, Casey. Sun is shining, the little breezes are breezing, and your pal Lowry is off to the races.
How come? You're supposed to be a reporter.
The best.
I thought a reporter worked. When do you play the horses instead of the news?
Uh-huh. For once they go together. Here, my ducats. Free passes. And that's my assignment. Gunnigan gave it to me just now. I'm covering the Centralia stakes for the Daily Sentinel.
I'll bet Axford is burning.
He will be when he finds out. You know his job? He's supposed to be watching Rossiter. He covers the crime angle, and I cover the race. I'll tell you all about it, Casey, when I get back.
You won't have to, Lowry.
Oh, boss.
Mr. Reed, good grief, what are you doing in so early? Or didn't you sleep?
Yeah, you do look sort of washed out, boss. You've been out all night.
Lowry, you have 2 tickets. Who goes with you?
Oh, I haven't asked anyone yet, boss. I just got him from Gunnigan.
Okay. I'm giving you the day off, Miss Case. You're going to the races. Yes, Cato. Keep talking. I'm alone.
At the racetrack, Mr. Bill. I watched Rossiter very close.
Does he suspect?
I believe nobody suspects we change horses back to original form, Mr. Priest. However, there is still 1 hour before race begins. What can happen?
Logan?
Logan did not yet arrive at the racetrack. It's a long walk from country, yes?
Fine, Cato. Stick around and see that things are going.
Reed, come around.
Goodbye, Cato. I'll see you later.
You won't have time to see nobody later, Reed. You got to come out to the racetrack. I was just talking to Mr. Wallaby, and I come right in for you.
I thought you were watching Rossiter.
Ah, Rossiter. Fuckers' sake. Who gives a hoot about that hoodlum? Wallaby just got to town. He took one look at his horse Firefly and hit the ceiling. Reed, he said it ain't the right horse. Mr. Reed, I could swear this horse in Firefly's stall is not Firefly. Look, he's got a bruise across his muzzle, a mark from the butt of a whip. I'm positive no one hit Firefly. That's right. He didn't have it yesterday.
What's the matter, Wallaby? You backing out? You scared your horse won't make a good showing? Anybody can see that's Firefly.
Rossiter, I've heard rumors that you plunged heavily on this race.
Sure. I bet on Stingaree. I think he's going to take it.
This horse couldn't be Firefly.
Looks the same.
Yes, but Firefly had a brother. The same sire and the same dam. Gosh, maybe this is that other horse. They look just as much alike as 2 peas.
Fixing your alibis ahead of time, huh, Wallaby? Come on, Wallaby, scratch your horse. Either way, I win.
If this horse isn't Firefly, it doesn't stand a chance. Why should I put my jockey up on a horse that can't run for...
7th place, Centralia Stakes. We have 10 more minutes before the mutuals close.
Mr. Wallaby, what are you going to do? We're going to race him, Bobby. It's too late to do anything else. Firefly was never nervous.
Gosh, Axford, I can't look.
They're ready. They're ready. They're ready.
eyes on Stingery, Wallaby. Your nag hasn't got a chance.
Get out of here.
Sure. See you at the finish line.
What's the first too late?
Hello, Logan. You come down. Hey, what are you doing here?
That's Firefly out there.
What? Are you batty? Firefly's upstate.
Oh, no, he isn't. No hornet got him. He gassed me. I was on my way to town. You got to call up those beds.
Call them off, will you, dummy? They're at the half already.
At the half, it's four try by a hit. Chickle in second place, right ahead of Stingery. Then Black Abbott fourth, and Firefly in fifth place.
Well, Lick was that Firefly. I tell you that. What's out there is Firefly.
Get out of my tail, Logan. Check them out. When this race is over, we'll go out behind the stable. I want to talk to you. Yeah, I want to talk to you. Win, lose, or draw.
At the three-quarter post, four try still in front. Stingery moving up fast to the inside. Stingery takes the lead. Stingery four try. Black Abbott, Firefly punches to the turn.
That's for Jerry. Remember, you're watching Rossiter. Okay, I'll keep one eye on him and one on the race. Come on, Firefly!
Stingery has the rail. Four try is. Here comes Firefly. He's coming up on the inside. He's coming fast to the inside. Stingery's on the whip. He's driving, but Firefly is closing in. Closing in. Stingery done. Stingery done. It's Firefly. Firefly opening again. 2 lengths, 3 lengths. Into fourth the baseline.
The race is over and Stingery lost. Stingery lost and I lose my $150,000. Taken to the cleaner. Ain't that what was it? Leave Mr. X out of this. Logan, I'm sunk, I'm licked. I had a good mind to tell a cop that was you that murdered that groom. You'd go to the chair.
No, you can't. You go with me. You gave the orders. Listen, I couldn't stop the Green Hornet. He's out after Mr. X. That's
This
why...
is between you and me, Derek. The Hornet won't ever get Mr. X. Forget that. But I'm going to choke you within an inch of your life. You're all right for wiping out bums like Jerry, but when it comes to a job with brains...
We heard everything. The law can take care of you now.
You two rats are under arrest for murder.
Perhaps you were listening.
Yeah, mister. You talk too loud. You both talk too loud.
Hey, Casey, you got a camera? I want to take a picture of those two skunks. It'll look good on page 1.
I brought my camera, Lowry, but don't forget the credit for this story goes to the Green Hornet. Remember that when you write the story.
Just heard the adventure, Murder, Across the Board. These exciting dramas originate in the studios of WXYZ Detroit and are sent to you every Saturday at the same time. They are copyrighted features of the Green Hornet Incorporated. All characters, names, places, and incidents used in this drama are purely fictitious. Myron Wallace speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.